just wanted to go over a few miscellaneous things with the blade assembly itself. So at this point, I haven't had any reason to work with this at all. I'm almost wondering, I'm thinking that these would have to be unlocked in order for this to pivot and kick out kind of for its safety catch. So if the bottom of the blade would catch something just immovable, that the whole blade would kind of tip down, separate from the tractor itself. It's just going to rotate downwards, and then whatever obstruction it hit is just going to go under. But I'm sort of thinking that if this is engaged like this, that can't happen. So it might be smart to look into that and pull it out and rotate it down, so that way when it needs to, that this can pivot. Other than that, a few other notes. The foot right here, I think these are only needed and used and have to be deployed and extended downwards in instances where you don't actually want the blade running on the ground. And so, for example, if you were plowing in the lawn, you would run the feet down, and those would act kind of like little contact sleds. And so those are smooth and rounded, and so those would run on the ground, and then the blade would be suspended up into the air a certain amount, so that way the blade isn't coming in contact with the lawn. Or if there was a gravel driveway, you would run the feet down, and then the feet would again kind of act like sleds, and those would actually make contact with the ground, and the blade would hover over the ground, removing the vast majority of the snow, but not all the snow down to the gravel, because then the blade would push not just the snow, but also the gravel. And then I think it's important to quickly mention that I removed the metal wear bar from this and added this HDPE, maybe? No, ultra high weight, some letters, I'd have to look it up. Polymer bar here, and so it's important that, so this is still a wearing item now. I mean, I think we used it last year a couple times, and it only wore because on this front edge, this is still the original factory edge. So there's kind of like a little triangle shape between my finger and the bottom of that black piece. And that's basically all that wore off from a couple plows. And as it starts to wear all the way across this whole thing versus just in this little back corner, it's gonna wear longer and longer. So I suspect this is gonna take some time to wear down. But once this starts getting close, what we don't want to happen is for this to start making contact and actually wearing down the actual plow frame. So at this time, there's still ample, all this leftover stock. So the bolts can come out, and then they can get re-drilled up higher, and then this whole thing will shift down, and in doing so, it'll expose more wear edge. The other possibility is, I don't know if there's any reason to do it or not to do it, but in theory, this whole thing could also get rotated, and then this side could become the wearing edge. But I think, I don't know that I see much benefit to that. I think this thing should just come down further. So that's really all the little footnotes. There's actually 2 bolts that I got to add back in to this. And on the front edge, these are actually full stainless bolts. On the front edge, these are a little bit frail. Stainless does seem to be a little softer metal. So I'm not entirely in love with using this very large Phillips. I also think the appropriate size square drive might also go in here as well, and also possibly work. But in order to stabilize it on this side, you need the large Phillips on this side, and then the other side is a nut, all stainless. I think that's all the footnotes that I have here.